I'm live. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about rock and roll, heavy metal, rock and roll, heavy metal, and classical music and stardom in context and perspective. So, there's a book by Robert Walzer called Power, Gender, and Madness in Heavy Metal Music. It talks about the correlation between classical music and heavy metal, and actually, um, classical music was the heavy metal and rock and roll of the 1700s. There was people didn't sit there politely listening like they do today with their legs folded and their hands crossed over their laps. They were rocking, and yes, they didn't have electric guitars or whatever, but that was the heavy metal of the day. 30,000 people would come to see Bach play his keyboard, and they weren't just standing around being respectful. They were partying and dancing and having fun. So Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart were the rock stars of the post-medieval world. But now in the 20th century, we start using our arms and crossing our legs and just listening politely, but that's taking the original music out of context and totally not the same audience that was there when Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart were actually doing the work. And then the second level of that is then our rock and roll came out. Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Van Halen, and now people rocked out. People didn't sit there telling Van Halen how to play Eruption. It just sounded good, and they were rocking out. Now, forward to the 21st century, we sit with our legs crossed and arms crossed and hands folded, listening to the rock and roll of the 20th century, and acting like it's a serious thing. It has to be moderated, meditated, listened to with respect, and done exactly how the gatekeepers or whatever would have it, or how the original artist did it 40 years ago. But that is, again, taking the original music out of context. Third level is today. I'd like to think I'm a part of the third level. I'm rocking out. At least I'm trying to do what the old guys did. Beethoven, Van Halen. I'm not saying I'm them, but I'm rocking out in my day. And yes, there's people that are going to say, "Oh my God, he's rocking out! Holy shit!" Well, I'm sorry. They said that to Bach and Van Halen too. And not that I'm them, but they said that in their day. And people that are saying that in my day, in some ways they make me mad and hurt me, but in other ways they actually give me hope, because it means I'm doing something right. Because that means I'm rocking out, and yes, it pisses people off, some of them, but that means I'm doing my job if it's the right people being pissed off. So I'm sorry what I posted about the pictures or whatever, and people undescribed, whatever, do your thing. But I took it down. I rock out. I don't listen to how people. I don't copy what was done in 200 years ago or 50 years ago. I do what is current to me right now, and what I feel is good, and what sounds good to me right now. And I don't expect people, nor do I, sit with my legs crossed and hands folded and fingers together, listening with respect to the music of the past and acting like that's now a thing. It isn't. This is the new thing. In Robert Walzer's book, someone said to a teenager, "You should watch." The teenager said, "Well, I watch MTV. That is the news." Yeah, you can watch the news and see whatever's going on, but part of me is the news. I'm doing good new music today, relevant today, and I love you guys. Peace, rock and roll, rock on.